function values. Unit circle method is the easiest way to get trig function values for different angles, standard angles. And the standard angles are, let's fill this and then we'll find some trig function values. So unit circle of radius, that means 1, so this would be 1 0, the coordinates, right? And this would be what then? 0 1. So this is the origin, 0 0, so 1 0 0 1. This should be 0 negative 1 negative 1 0. And the standard angles are, the first angle would be 30 degrees or pi over 6, then 45 pi over 4, 60 pi over 3, and then we'll figure out those angles. And this is 90, this is 0 radians, or 90 pi over 2. Okay, calculus works on radians measure, so I'm just mostly using radians measure. So, and we know that when we go to the right side, that's x direction, go up is y direction. So we need to figure out the coordinates for these points. We already know for this one, and this should be just the opposite here, and opposite, okay, and the opposite. So we'll figure out. So that's the first quadrant anyways, positive x, positive y. If we figure out for sine, okay, in this case we are basically trying to find sine and cosine values for these angles, standard angles. The first coordinate will be always cosine in this direction, x is cosine, and then y, that would be given sine. Like cosine of 0 is 1, the value 1, and sine of 0 is 0. Let's put theta angle, okay? I mean, that's how it works for this one. But for other angles, okay, so 1 0, these angles, if we can figure out for these angles, then we should be able to figure out for other angles as well. Anyway, this is 90, so cosine of 90, cosine of pi over 2 is 0, and sine 90 is 1. So to figure out for cosine and sine for these, how many angles we have? 1 2 3 4 5. Starting 0, so starting 0 we got 5, so 0 1 2 3 4. I have memorized in this way to figure out the values for sine. Let's do. Now we want to divide by 4, put the highest. Okay, we'll see what I'm doing here now. And the trigonometry is just irrational, so you want to take a square root. Then 0 over 4 is 0, so that will be for 0 radians. This one for sine, okay? For sine, 0 is 0 over 4 is 0, square root of 0 is 0. Then the second angle is pi over 6. That's the square root of 1 over 4 is 1 over 2. So sine pi over 6 is 1/2. This one is, next angle is pi over 4. Root 2, on the bottom square root of 4 is 2. On the top, that's the next angle, pi over 3. Root 3 over 4. And 4 over 4 is 1. That's for pi over 2. I mean, for 0 and pi over 2, they are obvious. So these are sine values. Sine means y coordinates. Now if we write, reverse order, 1 here, root 3 over 2 here, and root 2 over 2, 1/2 here, and 0. Just going from behind, that will give us cosine values. And if we divide 0 by 1, 1/2 by this one, sine over cosine, that's tangent. So now this one is then x, y, right? So this is x and y. It's kind of backward, but 1 0, that's what we have here for 0. Pi over 6, root 3 over 2, 1/2. For pi over 4, same thing, root 2 over 2, root 2 over 2. Pi over 3, 1/2, root 3 over 2. In fact, these two are just reverse, root 3 over 2. Okay. Now we are good with the angles in first quadrant. Now how about others? Then for that, let's do the following. Let's find the angles. What are these angles in fact? Okay, so let me erase this one. I don't need any more, and in fact I don't need this anymore. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, divide by 4, make it irrational taking square root. Then we have the first quadrant done. Now then, second quadrant, third, fourth quadrant. Let me erase this. Again, the first value is cosine, second is sine. The angle in the first quadrant, okay, if that is theta, the corresponding angle in the second quadrant will be 180 minus theta. And the corresponding angle in the third quadrant will be pi plus theta. And the angle in the fourth quadrant here, that will be 2 pi minus theta. Okay, that's the rule. That's how the angles are. Okay, let's say angle is pi over 6. Then the corresponding angle would be here, pi over 6. Okay, the first here. This angle will be then pi minus pi over 6. Pi means 6 pi over 6 minus 1 pi over 6. So 5 pi over 6. Pi plus this angle, 7 pi over 6. 2 pi minus this one, 11 pi over 6. So we can figure out this angle pi over 6. This is 5 pi over 6. Let me write better here. Pi over 6, and this one, okay, corresponding angle in third, 7 pi over 6, and here 11 pi over 6. In fact, a straight line means if we add pi 180 in this, we get this one, by the way. Okay, then how about for other standard angles? We got a pi over 4, 45. Pi minus pi over 4, that would be 3 pi over 4, 5 pi over 4, 7 pi over 4. So this is now 3 pi over 4. This is pi over 4 plus pi. That's 5 pi over 4. And this would be 7 pi over 4. Then finally, we got another angle, pi over 3. Pi minus pi over 3, 2 pi over 3, 4 pi over 3, 5 pi over 3. So pi over 3, this would be 2 pi over 3. Now here, that's 4 pi over 3. And this one is 5 pi over 3. And this one is 90. So this should be 270. That's the 3 pi over 2 angle. And 0, this is 180 or pi. Now, let's find the coordinates for other angles. I mean, these are, we are basically here, okay, this is the opposite. So in the first quadrant, x direction is positive, y is also positive, right? In the second quadrant, we have to move left, negative, positive. Here, left, down, right, down. Okay, so this one will be the same, but we'll be moving to the negative direction and up. So that's negative root 3 over 2, 1/2. Okay, for this one here, left means negative and positive. Negative root 2 over 2, root 2 over 2. This one in the same way, negative 1/2, root 3 over 2. Now go to the opposite side here, third quadrant, here, that's both negative. So straight down here, 7 pi over 6, that's the root 3 over 2, negative 1/2. Okay, now you know how to fill this completely, right? I mean, this one will be, this one is negative root 2 over 2, negative root 2 over 2. And this one is negative 1/2 negative root 3 over 2. Okay, this is 7 pi over 6. And here, fourth quadrant, so move to the right, positive and negative. So this will be basically this one, root 3 over 2, comma, minus 1/2. And this one is root 2 over 2 minus root 2 over 2. This one is 1/2 minus root 3 over 2. So we got all up to 2 pi. 2 pi is 360 back to 0, right? Now, once we have filled this unit circle, basically we need to only figure out the first quadrant. Then second, third, fourth will be just obvious. We don't have to even write this one. And here is the catch. Theta, second pi minus theta, third pi plus theta, fourth quadrant 2 pi minus theta. Now let's find some values. Okay, and first coordinate is cosine, sine, and if we divide sine by cosine we get tangent. Okay, so let's find some values. Then what is the value of, let's find easy, sine 3 pi over 4. That's here, 3 pi over 4. And sine means the second coordinate, so root 2 over 2. Okay, how about tangent 3 pi over 4? Okay, same angle. So the first is always x, second is y. Okay, the first one is cosine, second is sine, and tangent is in fact sine over cosine. So we divide this by this. Okay, they are same, but one of them is negative, so this is negative 1. Okay, if we have done like tangent pi over 4, here same means the ratio would be 1. So this should be, for tangent this should be 1. Sometimes people write the tangent value as well. Cosine, sine, you divide by this one to this one, this is 1. The third would be negative 1. Here if we divide negative negatives, so this should be just positive 1. Here is negative 1. Okay, the third would be tangent, cosine, sine, then tangent. Okay, but there are 6 trig functions. We just know how to find sine, cosine, tangent. How about their reciprocals? Let me do one more. What is tangent 11 pi over 6? So here 11 pi over 6, so we have to do negative 1/2 divided by root 3 over 2, and 2 to cancel, that's negative 1 over root 3. And this is fine, but we can rationalize the denominator, negative 1 over root 3 times you multiply by root 3 over root 3. That makes root 3 on the top 3. So negative 1 over root 3 is same as root 3 over 3 and negative. So tangent 11 pi over 6 has value negative 1 over root 3 or negative root 3 over 3. Okay, just the ratio of y and x. Let's find the values for other trig functions like secant. I mean, that comes in applications a lot. What is, let's say, secant pi over 6? We know that secant is reciprocal of cosine, so we don't have to write, but we can write one step, cosine pi over 6. Find the value of cosine pi over 6. Cosine is the x coordinate, and flip the fraction. So cosine pi over 6 is this one. Then flip means the bottom, so root 3 over 2, this will be then 2 over root 3. We don't have to write the middle. Secant is reciprocal of cosine. Cosine pi over 6, root 3 over 2, you just flip the fraction. You don't have to rationalize. If you want to rationalize, that would be root 3 over root 3. This is 2 root 3 over root 3 times root 3 is 3. Okay, and what is secant of, let's say, pi over 3? So here That's the root 3 over, okay, secant is reciprocal of cosine. Cosine pi over 3 is 1/2. And the reciprocal of 1/2 is 2 over 1, which is 2. Okay, and we can do this for other functions as well. I mean, once we have this unit circle, we can do anything for these values. Let's say cosecant pi over 4. Cosecant is reciprocal of cosine. Cosine is y coordinate. So pi over 4 is here. So negative root 2 over 2. Reciprocal would be 2 over root 2. Don't forget negative. Okay, that's it. Or you can, this one, we don't have to rationalize, but if you rationalize, this should be negative 2 root 2 over root 2 times root 2 is 2. Oh, rationalizing gives better answer in this case. Then we get negative root 2. So cosecant pi over 4 is just negative root 2. Okay, so we can do this work for cotangent. That would be, okay, let's find cotangent of, let's say, 3 pi over 4. Cotangent is ratio of cosine and sine. So we can just find the ratio of x and y coordinates. Tangent would be the ratio of y and x, but this is x and y. So 3 pi over 4 is here, x over y. Okay. Okay, they are same. Somehow I chose the easiest. They are same. So -1. The ratio is -1. Or if you write the third coordinate, that is tangent. And if you find the reciprocal of tangent, reciprocal of 1 is 1. -1 would be just -1. You get cotangent. Okay, in the next example, let's find other angles. We can have angles bigger than 2 pi, bigger than 360. Then how do we find those values? That's in the next video.